Alright, dudes. Sorry, I had to talk to Brimo about some stuff. That's what I usually do during my break. I usually go and talk to Brimo about her day and give her a hug. I respect whammons. Okay. Alright, so hugs are important. Sneaky. The whammons need the hugs, and sometimes the not whammons needs the hug too. It's just how it rolls. There's nothing wrong with getting a hug. I can relate very hard to this. Sneaky, you gotta go find yourself a whammons. You gotta go find yourself a dang whammons, boys. They're out there, or whomever. Whatever you prefer. It's 2021, it doesn't matter. Laserman every day. Not afraid to say that. Every day, dude. A day. Well, there's a difference between hugging your girlfriend or wife, Tessa, and hugging your son. Bobby, if you weren't my son, I'd give you a hug. I wish I get more hugs. Well, Boris, you gotta go find it. You gotta go looking. You do it for the cookies. I mean... Sorry, there's a fly. Anyway, so, you guys know what time it is? Do you hear that?
News! 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 News!
Yeah. I think it's time for space news. Okay, let's see. There's a couple of things here and there to talk about. We'll start off with the Russian space news. That's what I just transferred over. Let's go. So, I want to get back to building that SSTO. I'm falling a little bit behind. So, let's go. Everything Roscosmos. A week before launch of the OneWeb 7, fairing has been joined with the second stage of the Block 1 Soyuz 21B. Okay. Oh, got some nice pictures from Vostochny here. Have you edited? No, I haven't. No. Alright, so there's the Soyuz third stage payload attachment fitting right there. Yep. Okay, there's the bottom of the Frigate upper stage, which is basically a bunch of spherical tanks with wrapped around a center engine mount. There's the engine right there. Okay, there's the pilot dowel to mate the payload attachment fitting to the third stage. The pilot dowel will move this into position, and then they'll start bolting up the rest, and then they'll take the pilot dowel out, and they'll bolt it. That's just to line everything up. I really need something like that in KSP. We do have some KSP news, guys. I think you'll appreciate it. But, okay, next bit of news here. 2 Angara A5 rockets are planned to be delivered to the Plesetsk Cosmodrome in the second and fourth quarters of 2021. Third launch of the Angara A5 is scheduled to be in the third quarter of 2021. All right, more Angara rockets launching from Plesetsk. Plesetsk is Russia's military spaceport, so similar to like Vandenberg. And Angara is Angara to the Ministry of Defense in Russia would be like what Vulcan is to the Space Force. It's the rocket that the military wants to launch spy satellites, basically. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that Angara doesn't have other uses, just like Vulcan could have other uses down the road. Yeah, this is the only working Angara pad at the moment. I do like the blue and yellow. It's very, very IKEA. Alright, so this is coming from Dimitri here. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Specialists from Roscosmos and the ESA completed the operations on the final installation of the European robotic arm manipulator on the body of the new science module. So, Nauka, the Russian word for science, oh, God, why'd they do the eye closing picture? Why'd you do my man like that? Come on. Come on now. So Nauka is a new ISS module that's scheduled to be launched actually very soon. One of the last things that they're going to do is put the European Space Agency robotic arm on it. It's going to have a little mini remote manipulator on the thing. You can see the mount for it right there, and then they basically have to do that and then attach solar panels. Solar panels are like one of the last things, and then encapsulate. This is the payload attachment fitting right there, and yeah, then it's made it to the Proton. Proton's in the other room. It's down the hall from this. This is in Baikonur, and this is the basically the final payload checkout area. This is where they prepare space station modules for launch, and they also prepare Soyuz. This assembly line over here is for Soyuz, and then that's the Soyuz service structure right there when they're putting the thing together. There is the arm right there. Yep, yep. See the Soyuz stands? There looks like there's two Soyuz on there. This is the thing that takes Soyuz from vertical to horizontal, right there, those pieces of equipment. Nice. And that's the robotic arm inside of its payload crate when it was delivered here via airplane. Is that a new space station? No, that Farfuggia, that's going to be attached to the ISS. Yep. Is the new pad in the Far East not operational? The Angara pad at Vostochny will be probably operational by the end of the year. Yeah, you guys are doing work, man. It's really picking up. Nice. Good stuff. Also, Kim, you see this tweet the other day? Yo. Dude. It's a nice bike. Bro. Isn't it launching today? No, Velo. That's the Chinese. That's Tian. What is that? Tianhe? Yeah, bro. He's got a R1200. That's a really, really nice bike. Yeah, the Chinese scrubbed their station supply vehicle launch. Yeah, Tianxiao 2. That's the name of it. Yep. Yo, an R1200, if I'm remembering correctly, hang on. Let me just... That's a really, really, really nice bike. Let me see. If I'm remembering right, it's got a big frick... I mean, 1200 usually refers to the CCs. Yeah, it's a 1.1 liter engine in a friggin' bike. Yeah, 100 horsepower. 100 freaking horsepower. 94 horsepower to the rear wheels. Oh, God. It's happening again. How much does this thing weigh? Yep, 200 kilos. Okay, that's like... It's not Formula 1 power to weight, but it's pretty damn close. Nice bike. Yeah, I mean, that's a big displacement motor. So, yeah, the torque. This thing, it doesn't go the fastest. It's not the fastest street bike around, but... I know it's not a Gixxer. It's not a Gixxer, Tessa, but still a nice bike. That's a touring bike. Big touring bike. Nice. When do you think the moon will actually have a moon base? It could be as close as 2025, 2026, Pinseeker, if we play our cards right. Anyway, next bit here. Pin, it's hard to say. It really depends on how well the Artemis program goes. If I read NASA's broad agency announcements correctly, the Artemis program is designed to land on the moon, and then it's designed to basically keep doing that for the rest of the decade until we ramp up the Moon to Mars program, and then we target Mars in the 2030s. That's the tentative plan right now. I say tentative because it could change. Who knows? All right. According to the open source media, Glabkosmos expects to sell the Soyuz MS-08 descent module for $300,000 to $400,000, depending on configuration. If the deal does go through, more capsules might be put up for sale. Yeah, Gleb Cosmos, who's the subsidiary of Roscosmos that basically builds and flies the Soyuz rocket and the Soyuz capsule, is selling their old stock, selling capsules that have already been into space. Soyuz is a one-time use capsule, so it doesn't. They don't have any use for them. So they 300 to 400,000 for Soyuz, slightly used. No lowballers. I know what I have. Cool. All right, that's going to do it for the Russian news. And once again, I'm going through this stuff rather quick. The next stuff, as we go back across the pond here, this is coming from Firefly, from my buddies over at Firefly. Let's see. Firefly is pleased to announce we selected SpaceX to launch our Blue Ghost lunar lander for the CLIPS program. We're excited to leverage the performance and reliability of Falcon 9 to propel Blue Ghost on the first phase of its journey to the moon. Firefly does have a commercial lunar payload services contract for a lander, and they've chosen SpaceX to launch it. Welcome to the SpaceX lunar program. Great news, but why not use your own rocket? Dave. What? That's not how that works at all. Our rocket does not have the performance or payload volume needed to launch Blue Ghost. Falcon 9 does. Our future beta launch vehicle will support the Blue Ghost launch. There you go. Firefly, right on it. What's that program all about? Commercial lunar payload services are basically sending robotic probes to different parts of the moon to, amongst other things, find landing sites, probe for resources down on the surface, figure out ISRU, in situ resource utilization on the moon, basically in preparation for people landing on the moon sometime in 2024. Yeah, it's kind of synonymous in function to the Surveyor missions from Apollo. Before they sent people to the moon, they sent probes there. First with the Ranger program and then with the Surveyor program. The kind of height of that was Apollo 12, when Apollo 12 landed next to Surveyor 3. Check this shot out. That's Pete Conrad and Al Bean standing next to Surveyor 3. One of Apollo 12's objectives was to prove that you could do a pinpoint landing. And they landed within about, like, what does that say? About a football field, about 300 feet, or about 100 meters away from Surveyor. Yep, there they are. They landed next to it. They went and they took some parts off of it and brought them back. It's the only time that's ever happened. Only time we've landed two different things with two different rockets on another planet, sent one, grabbed parts off the other, and came back. Does the first human landing have a designated goal other than being there? Do they do some science? Scientific, they will probably pack that mission with as much science as humanly possible. All the eggs are starting to get put into one basket. Yeah.
Discovery, go
That's pinpoint. What are we going to call the super heavy catch then? Yes. Guys, they're commercial lunar payload services. It's CLIPS. That's not, like... Yeah, a lot of them are going to Falcon 9, and that's all fine and dandy, but, I mean, if SpaceX fields Falcon 9 for the Artemis program and Starship, that's redundant to similar architecture enough for me. I mean, I still think that Congress is going to be like, nah, you need 2 landers, even though we underfunded you, but, I don't think it's... I really hope SpaceX is no failure during Falcon 9. The only thing that's really gonna belt out Falcon 9 at this point is a failure from pushing the envelope, dudes. There's no, come on. It's been flying for a decade and has a half decade of landing experience under its belt. I'm not worried. Would I like the contracts to go around whomever? But yeah, NASA can't force commercial lunar payload contractors to use redundant dissimilar architecture. They can't do that. It's not their fault they chose. Everybody chose SpaceX. Graph Shark, no, not really. Twitching, 22-month resub. Go X33. Yep. Can't wait for us to go back to the Mars rover. Yeah. Yep. And that was without the fancy radar landing tech we have now. Yeah, sneaky. They had a computer. But I mean, it was basically the equivalent of a potato at the time by today's standards, you know? So, yeah, it's still dang impressive. I mean, Neil did the first one by hand, which is just... okay. Yeah, let's make 2 landers out of the budget needed to make 1 lander and then cancel it when only 2 half-completed landers are done. And Atlas 5 almost failed on OA6. It can happen to anyone out of the blue. I mean, guys, you know I call it fair. So what? NASA's gonna say no, half of these have to launch on Atlas 5 and you have to pay more money? If NASA's gonna mandate that, it defeats the entire point of having commercial lunar payload services. You might as well just call it lunar payload services. And put all those landers on an SLS launch. It's not NASA's fault everybody chose SpaceX. Except for the Peregrine lander, which is Vulcan. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. What? Hey, quadriplegic. What's up, buddy? Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I'd want them to spread the contracts around as much as possible as well, but if you're operating on the budget that some of these smaller sat companies and lander companies operate at, Falcon 9 is the only viable option. But then Vulcan is behind with a BE4. I disagree, Grab Shark. I don't think that it's a hardware constraint. I don't think it's a ULA hardware constraint, which is the next article that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So this is a Space News article coming from Sandra Irwin about ULA's Vulcan rocket. It says ULA's Vulcan rocket is behind schedule. Space Force agrees to let Atlas V do an NSSL launch because Vulcan isn't ready. I'm not trying to bark up Sandra Irwin's tree or Space News. I love these guys. They do good work. I'm fairly confident that ULA, based off of their prior track record, would not this doesn't read like ULA at all. I'm pretty damn sure that this is a payload constraint and has nothing to do with Vulcan, nothing to do with BE4s. I can say that with pretty good confidence. I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Sorry, there was a fly. I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Tori Bruno doesn't do this. This is not his style. You know that. This is not how he operates. I'm pretty dang sure that the reason why this mission switched to an Atlas V has nothing to do with Vulcan being ready on time. Vulcan will be ready on time. I don't think the payloads will be ready on time. I'm pretty damn sure that that's the reason. The payloads will not be ready in time. And Vulcan needs qualification missions for an SSL certification to be able to launch Department of Defense payloads. They got to prove that it works first. No one's going to put an $800 million spy satellite on a rocket that hasn't been proven. Even Tori Bruno's rocket. Still not going to happen. I think that Dream Chaser and the Peregrine lander are behind schedule, and I think that Vulcan is not going to achieve its NSSL, National Security Space Launch, qualifications in time for this mission. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's what's going on. I don't think it has anything to do with Vulcan. I think it has everything to do with the payloads, unless ULA wants to pay for a test mission out of pocket, which pretty sure they don't want to do that. Vulcan does need to fly 2 launches before it is certified to carry Department of Defense payloads. I don't think this has anything to do with the BE4s. And I think ULA's rocket will be ready on time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the BE4s anymore. I think that, from what I understand, they did have some problems with the turbines, but they've since fixed that. And I'm pretty dang sure that it's going to be I'm pretty dang sure that the Vulcan will be ready on time. I think the payloads are going to take longer. Wasn't there something really credible not long ago about the turbine machinery on the BE4? Answered that already. But then Vulcan is behind because of the BE4. Yeah. I thought it was forbidden to launch military sats on Atlas because of the RD-180. I guess if it comes down to not launching versus launching, I guess they don't really care. So, I'm pretty dang sure this isn't ULA. That doesn't sound like ULA. It doesn't sound like how they operate. It very much sounds like the payloads are not going to be ready in time for this mission. That's what that sounds like. But once again, I'm not basing my opinion off of just what I think. That's just ULA's track record. They always deliver. Sometimes it's a little bit behind schedule, but they've never missed any particular deadline by like a year. The only time in recent memory I can recall a launch being super delayed was L-44 on a Delta IV Heavy. And that was because of COVID. That had nothing to do with the rocket. I mean, the rocket swing arms were junk. That was a problem. But that was a 6-month delay at best. You know, and that had nothing to do with rocket hardware. That had everything to do with GSE, which the rockets work. I think this is payloads, Rocket Guy. I agree with you. I think this is payloads all day. I think ULA has a 60% of the missions for NSSL. They wouldn't screw this up. The Space Force paid them billions of dollars to not do that. So that tells me, I mean, you might see a they might just run a test flight. They might run a load simulated test flight. Straight up. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Either way, next bit of news here. So we have a Phil Sloss epic coming from NASA Spaceflight about SLS and what's going on. I'm going to read through this, or at least a little bit, and we're going to go from there. So, the SLS core stage thermal protection system refurbishment is in work at Kennedy for the Artemis 1 mission. This work needs to be done in this period after the green run and transportation to Florida, but before mating the core stage and boosters for a couple of reasons. Bulk of the foam repairs on the core stage were deferred from Stennis until arrival at KSC so it could be done inside where there are fewer weather and environmental disruptions. It was always our intent to take advantage of the most appropriate location to get the work accomplished, and so I'm happy we're refurbishing the core stage in the VAB. I loved being at Stennis. We were happy with the test program, but when you're doing thermal protection system work, it's much better to do that in a controlled environment, so that's why we're working on that in the vehicle assembly building. Yeah, Potter. Let's see. We had to get it out off the test stand to see what we needed to do, but we always had planned on doing the refurbishment work inside of the VAB. If I'd done any horizontal work at Stennis, it would have been out in the rain, and the weather there this year was pretty tough. Aldridge noted that some repair work was started at Stennis, but only in pieces where they could easily make repairs without installing any scaffolding. Another reason the thermal protection system work is being done now before mating the core stage to its boosters is because after that happens, some repair locations will be blocked. The boosters attached to the core stage at the 90 and the 270 degree locations around its circumference, which will block access to certain areas on the core stage. The work is being broken down into access constraints. Once you're stacked, it's difficult to get to the 90 and the 270 side because of the boosters. So the work is being prioritized such that we do the things we have to do in the transfer aisle, and then everything else I believe any other refurbishments that aren't in these two areas will go in High Bay 3. Cool, cool. Yep. ZSLS, YSLS, XSLS. Yeah, they're using X up. Ugh. Why? Why would you use X up? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why? Why not? Why? Secondarily, we are focusing on areas closer to the 0 and 180 degree size where access would be difficult in the high bay. These areas would require excess scaffolding to gain access to, something to be avoided if possible. Although the thermal protection system repair work has been pushed back, Yeah, maybe so. Mm-hmm. X up is common in engineering. Yep. Although the thermal protection system repair work has pushed back the mating of the core stage to the boosters, making the repairs now removes the possible conflicts between thermal protection system repairs and multiple critical work paths that begin after they hang the core stage on the SRBs. Meanwhile, in conjunction with thermal protection system work, standard pre-launch processing such as the installation of portions of the flight termination system are being performed by exploration ground systems and Jacobs while the stage is horizontal because there's better access. Once we're integrated, that opens up a lot more work for integrated testing and checkout. The exploration ground system team has postured themselves to get into that integrated test and checkout as fast as possible. Okay. The more obvious effects of the test firings on the thermal protection system were at the very bottom of the stage, with the base heat shield area blackened by the extended heat exposure during the static tests. During both the short 1-minute long January test and the full duration 8-minute long March test, the base thermal protection system ablated away as designed. Although most of the base heat shield was burned, some of the reflective foil tape used in the green run remained in place. Vehicle looks pretty charred up. I've joked that it kind of has a Phantom of the Opera look to it. We had temperature sensors on the backside of the base of the heat shield, and we didn't get above, I think it was 60 Fahrenheit or something in there. Wow, that's really good. That's like 15 C, if I'm remembering right. Sorry, somebody double check me on that one. Which is very benign for the aluminum structure. So the ablative materials did what they were supposed to do. They burnt. They ablated the way they were supposed to, but the vehicle underneath it did not get damaged, which is what it's supposed to do. There you go. The bottom of the core stage exterior is insulated with cork to protect the equipment inside against the high heat loads seen after RS-25 ignition, and the two boosters. For standard launch campaigns, the foam is coated with white paint. That white paint that we use is actually a weather sealant. If you didn't have that, the cork is just going to continue to wick moisture, and so your already heavy cork is going to become much heavier once it gets full of water. So we paint the hyapalon coating on there to seal it so that you're not pulling moisture out of the air. That's what the white part of the engine section is. Cool. In the test stand at Stennis for the static fire testings, the bottom of the stage, called the base heat shield, had to endure 8 minutes of heat load from the firing engines at basically sea level. In a dynamic flight, the two SRBs will generate additional heat load, but as the vehicle accelerates out of the atmosphere, after only a few minutes, the SRBs separate and the vehicle is essentially in a vacuum, which significantly reduces heating on the bottom of the core stage. Can't have fire if there's no oxygen. Makes sense. For the long sea level firing in the stand, a layer of reflective foil tape was added in final production at the Michoud Assembly Facility in New Orleans to the downward facing surfaces. That's what this stuff is. See the tape right there? That was a special tape we put on there specifically for the green run because we had more radiative heating. Yeah, basically because they were firing the engines down here the entire time. The fire would get worse because there's more oxygen outside for stuff to burn. Aldridge noted that the application of the foil tape ended up needing to be double-checked due to the extended campaign at Stennis, which started a little before the pandemic shut down activities around the planet. We shipped from Michoud, got into the test stand, and then COVID hit, and we sent everybody home for a handful of months. Yikes. Meanwhile, this tape is still sitting out there aging because of UV radiation and stuff like that, so we did have to come back to do some surface emissivity testing on the tape to see where it was in the health of it. Cool. Yep, can't convect heat. Yeah, if there's no atmosphere, 5-head. In contrast to the repair work for the foam on the upper 4/5 of the rocket stage, the refurbishment of the bow tail and engine TPS will be done after the stage is stacked. The areas where the foil tape came off and were charred will need to be cleaned up. Cool. I did it, EJ. Officially done with classes for the semester, and I feel as free as a Falcon 9. Nice, dude. Congratulations. I drove by the Institute on Tuesday, dude. Bremo and I were driving around Cambridge. Nice, man. That's cool. Not with that attitude, they can't snackless. Okay. So it looks like they're going to refurbish the rest of this stuff. They're going to refurbish this stuff, the bottom of it, after. And they're working on stuff that's on the long axis of the rocket, on the x-axis. Yep. They can hop, so you must only hop now. Oh, looks like I was on page 2. Interesting. Maybe I think I started reading this. Anything in here? Refurbishment is best work in the VAB. The first tanking cycle where we had the full duration wet dress rehearsal, and then we cold soaked for 2.5 to 3 hours, which is a long time to sit. We did see a number of cracks that did show up then, some of which didn't get any worse as we got into Hot Fire 1, and then Hot Fire 2, some of them did get a little bit worse. Most of the areas that needed to be addressed on this is on the orange foam, are at the flange between the inner tank and the liquid hydrogen tank. These flanges are where the 5 major structural elements of the core stage are bolted together during assembly. Looks like, yeah, so they had some foam cracking where the hydrogen tank attaches to the rest of the rocket. A flange is a flat metal mating surface where you can, like, butt 2 things up together. So, like, at the top of the hydrogen tank has a flange built in where the dome is. So, like, if you looked at the hydrogen tank from the side, right? This is like from the side view. The tank would go up. And then right before it does this curve, there would be a little lip, so it would look like... It looks like that. So when they go to put the inner tank on here, right, the inner tank has a flange that looks like this. And then they bolt them together. Things contract when they're cold, okay? The cold liquid nitrogen condensate coming out of the weep holes would then run over the closeout foam sprayed over the LH2 the inner tank LH2 flange. You have this constant flow of liquid, and it was more pronounced on the south side of the rocket, the 0 degree side of the rocket, than it was on the north side of the rocket. Huh. Interesting. So we saw the bulk of our cracks in that flange on the south side, on the 0 degree side, which we attributed to the constant flowing of liquid nitrogen out of these weep holes running across that foam. Wait, which flange are they talking about here? Cold liquid nitrogen condensate coming out of the weep holes would then run over the closeout foam sprayed on the LH2 inner tank flange. Yeah, right. So that's right there. That flange that I was talking about in this picture is right where the orange changes color. This is the inner tank right here. This is the flange for the hydrogen tank, and that's the aft flange for the liquid oxygen tank. You can see all these dots on the core stage are the sensors that they were talking about. My question is, why would nitrogen be up here? Where are the nitrogen tanks on this thing exactly? Because I know they use... These tanks use autogenous pressurization, but I know the CAPUs... No, the CAPUs are a hydrogen tap-off, which is weird. Maybe they probably inert the tanks with nitrogen before they start filling them up, to make sure when they fill them up, if a bunch of nitrogen gas is in here, it'll come out the vent holes. They purge the volume with dry N2 gas. It liquefies from the cold LH2 temperatures. Oh, they purge the dry volume. Okay, got it. Yeah, they inert the tanks. That's a good idea, fellas, because you don't just want to like seal the tank, right? And then there's just atmosphere in there. There's oxygen, nitrogen, whatever, right? What they'll do is they'll evac all the oxygen out on these tanks, and they'll open up the vents and they'll fill it up with nitrogen, and it gets everything, all the oxygen and everything else out. Yeah, and then you fill it up with fuel. Yeah, you got to purge the tanks. That's really important. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. The dry volume meaning the portions that aren't tanks. Oh, so they inert the inner tank too. I mean, that makes sense. With hydrogen being what it is, that makes perfect sense. Does Starship do that? Lilo, I'm going to guess, yeah, probably. Yeah. Loading nitrogen up on the rocket, or GN2, gaseous nitrogen, is, yeah, usually how they inert tanks. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they also purge the engines with nitrogen as well. Yep. SpaceX does. I don't know about the shuttle engine. I know the shuttle engines need to dry, but... What tire can handle this? Oh, I have no idea. Yeah, so... I'm wondering if there's anything in this article about stacking. I started on page 2 by accident, guys. When we get out here to do the wet dress rehearsal at Kennedy and we go fly, that joint will fill up with ice, which means that you won't have much of a thermodynamic condition, so that should mitigate the cracking problem we saw with the flange thermal protection. Cool. Now that the core stage is in the vehicle assembly building at Kennedy, the thermal protection system refurbishment is the remaining major task before it can be rotated vertical, lifted into the High Bay 3 integration cell, and mated to the SLS boosters that are already stacked on the mobile lawn chair. Oh, man. That's going to look insane. You can't have regular air because it'll have O2, CO2 moisture. You potentially get some ice where you don't want it if there's cold components. N2 has a low boiling point and it's inert. Good call. So does this talk about, or have they said how that will handle the VAB air and climate? They said working on it indoors is better than working on it outdoors, and I agree with that. And yeah, the VAB should be fine. Yeah. Working in the VAB should be good. You guys want to know something cool? You see the floors? Those look really nice. See the floors on the high bay work stations? It's wood. It's wood. Seriously. It's a hardwood floor. It's nice. Yep. You don't want to ground yourself out when you touch an SRB. Yeah, it's probably a bad idea. And wood is soft, so if you drop something like a bolt or whatever, it doesn't break. It just hits the wood and dents it. Yeah, you don't want any static around here when you touch this because it's full of fuel. I would have went with a darker wood. Nah, man, you got to go with a lighter wood. The contrast to the darkness of the VAB would look marvelous. So these high bay things are like drawers. They slide in and out. See the tracks form back there? They slide in and out depending on what needs to be processed on the rocket. They're shelves, and they... Aren't those floors in the way when they roll out? Well, Bill, yeah, what I just said. You just got struck at how crazy SLS will be on launch day. Dude, even seeing the core stage with the 2 SRBs here is going to... That's when it'll hit home, really, for me. I mean, the core stage is over here. This picture was taken by Stephen Marr at NASA Spaceflight. If Stephen just turned the camera 90 degrees this way and looked down there, the core stage is down there. It's in the transfer aisle, which is just, oh man, we're getting so close. We're getting so damn close. Everybody, like, if you guys ever get a chance to go and see the VAB, please do. It's not, like, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a place that you can just walk into, right? But so right now the core stage is in what's called the transfer aisle. And if you like look at NASA's VAB, right? The VAB, if you're looking at it from the top, looks like this, right? And then there's like another building here and another building here. There's 4 high bays inside of the VAB. So you have high bay 1, high bay 2, high bay 3, and high bay 4. The crawler tracks come out here, right? And then they go this way towards the pads, right? This one obviously connects in, right? Basically just does this, and then it goes that way, right? And then 4 and 2 have the tracks that go around this way, and then they come back in over here, right? So there's the high bays. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And then there's the transfer aisle. And then there's a gigantic door right here. And then there's a big hallway that basically goes in this way. The rocket stages come in this way. And in the transfer aisle, that's where they process them. This is inside of the transfer aisle, but it's right here. The core stage is basically right there. It's right there. When it's ready to go, they're going to move it out here. They're going to pick it up. And then they're going to put it in high bay 3 where the mobile launcher is. The mobile launcher is in here. That's the fixed service structure. The SRBs are right there and right there. And they'll stack the core stage and then out to the pad. I mean, they'll put the rest of the rocket together. But yeah, you can go one of 4 bays here. Now, during the Apollo program, Apollo made all 4 bays, but high bays 1 and 3 were the only ones that were configured. They never configured 4 and 2 for a Saturn V. And when I say configure, I mean putting those shelves in there for the launch vehicle. They never configured them for Saturn V, except for the front 2. The front 2 meaning high bay 1 and high bay 3. And then during the shuttle program, they redid high bay 1 and 3 for the space shuttle, which needed much smaller shelves, right? High bays 2 and 4 have basically been used to stage stuff. The shuttles during the shuttle program would come in through high bay 2, and they would pick them up and put them on 1, or pick them up and put them on 3, depending on where it was going. Sometimes I think they could take it into 4 as well. And then the external tanks came in this way during the shuttle program, and the SRBs came in segments over here from the booster processing area. How many Saturn V's can fit in here? If you wanted to run the VAB at maximum capacity, you could build, well, it's really how many mobile launchers do you have? I mean, you have to configure each high bay, but you also need a thing to build the rocket on. 39 is using a clean pad design, so you're gonna need a launcher. You're gonna need one of these things. Here. See this thing right here? This is a mobile launcher. That's the mobile launcher for SLS. This is the one in High Bay 3 that has the SRBs stacked on it, right? This is the one that will launch that core stage. How this whole thing works is, if you notice, the thing is sitting up on pegs in the corner, and then a gigantic tracked vehicle called a crawler transporter will drive underneath this thing. There's the crawler right there. It'll drive underneath it, right? And then this thing has adjustable ride height. It'll drive underneath it. It'll pick the mobile launcher up, and then it'll drive it out to the pads. This thing picks up that thing, and then it brings the stuff out to the pad that way. I have a picture kind of demonstrating that. There's a picture of a Saturn V in a high bay right there. There's the shelves, right? Yeah, see, there we go. That's what it looks like. The thing picks up the entire stack and launch pad and moves it in one shot. Could you convert the VAB into a giant launch pad? Flash Wolf, what you just asked would be like saying, hey, can we convert this hangar into a runway? What? No. 39A and 39B. Well, 39B is yeah, there's no fueling there. 39B is where you launch from. So 39B is what's called a clean pad design. Clean pad means it's here. I'm gonna try to find like an aerial view of the pad. Here's one with the ML on it, which is pretty rad. Take a look. So that has the mobile launcher on it, and it has the crawler, right? When the crawler moves away, they say this is a mobile launcher. That's exactly what it is. That's the launch pad. And then all that's left at the pad is basically the fuel lines. That's it. And you drive the mobile launcher up. This thing sets this thing down on pegs, right? And then you plug the fuel lines and the water lines and the nitrogen lines in. See those things right there? That's the fuel lines. Those pipes going up the side, fuel lines. Liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. The fuel, well, liquid oxygen is coming up this side. The hydrogen's coming up that side. But you get the idea. Because they have to fuel the upper stage, and they also have to vent the core stage hydrogen in hydrogen tanks, which is right there. You can't vent hydrogen out into the atmosphere just like you can't vent methane. So this is a clean pad design. You could roll any rocket onto this pad as long as you have the right fuel and the right hookups and a mobile launcher. You could put anything on here. Where are the evac lines for crew? I think it looks like they hook them up, but I don't know. Is it possible for NASA to lease a high bay out for a private rocket company for manufacturing? Yes. They leased out 39A to SpaceX, so sure, absolutely. Guys, once again, this infrastructure the scale of this infrastructure is mind-boggling. Your brain is telling you how big this stuff is, but you don't know how big this stuff is. I've seen this stuff up close. It is the scale is insane. So see, there's your VAB. There's High Bay 1, High Bay 2, High Bay 3, and High Bay 1, 2, 3, and 4. See the tracks? And then they store the crawler the mobile launchers over here and the crawler transporters over there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Stackless, I mean, you have a picture of the ML inside of the VAB. This is from the tour bus. Now, take what we know about lattice crawler cranes, right? Take what we know about lattice crawler cranes from all the Starship footage. You tell me how tall that is. We know that one of these lattice crawler cranes can reach up to 500 feet, or about 200 meters. Now, that one is not in full... That's not full configuration for that crane, because I know that this is only about 300 feet. I know that because the VAB is 400 feet tall. you can see the VAB from Orlando on a clear day if you're high enough up in the air. So, like, if you're ever on a plane in Orlando and you're landing coming from the north going south, if you're on the left side of the plane and it's a clear day, look to your left. You'll see it. You can see the VAB from 50 miles away. It's friggin' huge. They're doing stuff at the FDS mount location on SN15. Interesting. What is 400 feet? $121 meters. Yeah, the thing's big, man. The scale here is incomprehensible. You have to go and see it for yourself. I mean, I could show you my stuff, my pictures of it if you want to see it. Let me find them. Give me a moment. Where's the rest of my dang pictures? Where are my dang old pictures? I tell you what. Give me a second. Here we go. Ah, yes. Yeah, this picture should convey it pretty well. Look at the cars compared to the VAB. You gotta understand, those are big old American cars because we're in Florida. The thing is freaking huge. Yeah, nice picture, Gully. It's a nice pipe. Yeah, I know. That's a fire water pipe. See the cars down there? Those are all trucks and stuff. Okay, so see that? That's OPF 1 and 2. The space shuttle fits in there. This should give you some pretty good scale. That is as tall as the space shuttle. Wow, these pics are old. You still have hair. Do I? Nice. Nice. Yeah. 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 Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good pictures. You lost some mass? Yes. Pretty much the same weight that I was. Yeah. Pretty good time. Yeah, the scale is unbelievable there. Anyway, so we're gonna finish this up with a new KSP loading video here. Let's go. Enjoy it while you still have it. Tessa, if it becomes a big enough problem, then I'll do something about it, but... Oh, nice picture, Sneaky. Also, might want to look at the forum, but Sneaky, I've already seen the whole thing. And I knew about this before I started streaming today. Because I always check my messages and Twitter and everything before I start the stream. Yeah. Here. Take a look. So, looks like 1.12 is going to have rotating docking ports here. There's more in the forum post. Yeah, I know. Looks like the docking port's got an art pass, and they added a rotating docking port, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty nifty. The timing, though, Core. I literally just said like a breath before you said that I have the forum post open, dude. Check this out. Ooh, crane assembly. We'll check that in a moment. Check this out. So we have the ELU and we have the pole revamp, and then we have docking ports. Look. Looks like they added some pedals to it without adding pedals to it. That's cool. Yeah. That's my small Clampatron. So it looks like they didn't change the gliders anything. They just gave these things an art pass and a little bit of texture work, which is cool. The model might be a little different. Keep in mind, model and gliders are two different things, but I like it. It looks good. Clampatron docking port. Nice. Dude, look at the... Okay. It's got a little window in it. Ah, that's cool. I like that. That's neat. All right, what else we got? So there's the deployable docking port. That's cool. The 1.25 has it as well. Yeah, that's right. The small one doesn't have a window, but the big ones do. Dude, it's got a window on the backside too. It's like a little vestibule. That's cool. Yeah? Yeah? Oh, very good. Very good. SB10L 1x5 photovoltaic deployables. Non-deployables. That's cool. Oh, yeah. 3 meters. 3 meter tall, 2.2 meter wide. Those panels are huge. That's cool. And then, look, Stampatron, a ground anchor. Yeah, Thomas, I got you. Ground anchors. Well then. Max really wants me to make some damn cranes. You're making it pretty dang irresistible here. No more ground drift? I don't know. I would suspect that. Here, let's see if there's like something, if there's more information on this. I gotta turn Dark Reader off so I can read. New solar panels. Ground anchor. The ground anchor is a brand new element in KSP that, when paired with EVA construction, will give players the ability to anchor their vessels to the ground or create a solid foundation for bases. I don't know how to read. The deployable ground anchor will work as a deployable part, so it will have to be put into a Kerbal's inventory and then use the deploy functionality to have it successfully anchor itself to the ground in order to build a base from it. Oh, cool. All right, let's see. Bro, that's awesome. Dude. Ready? Oh, that's so legit, man. Oh, frick. Oh, frick. Dude. Yo, if you took that and you were like at the rim of a crater on the moon, right? You could place down 2 of these things, right? And then put a hinge on them and then a hydraulic, right? And you could make frick. You could make like a base that's built into the side of a crater and it won't slide down. Hey, Mac, how have you been? I'm good. Mac, check this out. Look at this thing. You can make bridges. Oh, damn. Do you know if it aligns to the ground plane or gravity? That looks like it aligns to the ground. I'm wondering, I know that stuff, the ground shifts around due to a float point error. I'm wondering how they got around that. Oh, that's so damn cool. Are you going to not talk about the other buttons in the Kerbal's EVA menu? It's just, this is the dev app version of this. It's the debug. Yeah. Yeah, that's the debug. That's the developer. That's the dev kit for KSP. When they use construction, it's way smoother. Yeah. It's an anchor point, Mac. You can anchor stuff into the ground. At this rate, we'll just be able to replicate stuff from KSP2 and KSP1. Oh, yeah. No, I'm building bases. Building bases, just base, building landing pads, bro. Now, imagine if they added cables. Oh, boy. We don't have a release date yet for 1.12, as far as I know. So, let's see if Umo Capra has anything up here about a release date. Welcome to our official newsletter for KSP Loading. If you want to learn about the current developments here. Coinciding with the game's 10th anniversary, Kerbal's getting for its 12th major update since its official release, and it's going to be epic. This update will be packed with brand new content such as new parts, features, revamps, and more. Yeah, Goddess Nipple. This is from the KSP pack. Yep. It looks like the bottom half aligns to the ground and the top part aligns to the horizon. X to doubt. Didn't move. Huh. Either way, I also wonder, does this anchor or disable physics on parts? I doubt it disables physics on parts, but will this attach to the KSC hexagons? I don't see why it shouldn't. Demo. Last. Pretty sure June 24th, since it would be right on the 10-year anniversary, and it follows the exact release schedule of the previous big updates. So, that's a little ways out. So there might be more to this. Okay, look, I'm not reading into this any more than it needs to be read into. The last, when they introduced Kerbal Construction, they started introducing, like, when they first started introducing components, they introduced stuff that led to Kerbal Construction. You know what I mean? I'm wondering, and no, I don't know this, I don't ask. I do this on purpose. I'm wondering if this is a lead-in for something else. It's a deployable Kerbal pack, Rocket Guy. Yeah, the Kerbals have to deploy it in inventory. KSP's 10 years old. Yeah, it's been a fun decade, man. I've been here almost the entire time. I've been playing KSP since August of 2012, so I've been here for 9.5 years. So we're still a month out Thomas, what was the rate at which they teased 111? What was the rate at which they teased it? They were teasing things all the way up until the release, weren't they? The only reason I even, like I said, I might be reading too much into it. I was chilling with Max and Nathan Kell on Nathan's stream the other day. Max is the he's a dev for KSP, and he was telling me 1.12 came up, and he's like, "Oh, there's a lot of stuff in there that you'll enjoy," and I'm like, what does that mean? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, no, you can't do that to me. You can't do that to me. You can't just say that, man. What the hell? That's so screwed up. Why? Why would someone do that to another person? What version did you start on? Bastion, I've been playing since 16.16. 0.16, yeah. That's 16.16.2 was the first version of KSP. The first time I encountered KSP, 0.16 was out. In your opinion, what would be the best thing to be added to KSP? At this point, dude, it's just quality of life stuff, MotoKid. You don't need to change anything. The core gameplay at Kerbal is fantastic. Just quality of life and optimizations. So deploy, add a structural column, strut to the pad. Think that will help anchor points? You'd have to dock it, Rocket Guy. At least I think. I don't know if you could run a strut. Cables? Cables. Yeah, the real... What would I add? I mean, I want cables. I want cables. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want cables. But... that's what I want. That's not necessarily what will make the game better. Alright? Does KSP have SN9 type rockets? If you make one, Knives, yeah, sure. I've made a Starship. An expandable module would be cool. Yeah, that would be really nice. An expandable, that would be something I think people would go after. I mean, I don't know. Like, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that I'd want. Did you make cookies?
You.
Ugh. Now I have to eat them. Segmented SRBs, Rocket Guy, would be really nice, yeah. Yeah, Max. Stuff slides around in KSP. Vernier thrust block, yeah. That would be good. I know, Trehek, right? What the heck am I supposed to do with this? A linear arrow spike would be good. I wish we had an RS-2200 or something like it. That would be super useful. I don't really have anything in particular, man. Yeah, if they figure out a way to get the joint strength on robotic parts fixed so they don't drift around, I'm good to go. Yeah, Just Base. Elu and Pole, they did a texture overhaul. Part manufacturing sneaky? Yeah. Crane parts would be nice. Yeah, but T-Man, do we want crane parts because of the stupid stuff that I do here? Or do we want crane parts because it's going to be a good addition to the game? How many average KSP players would be messing with those crane parts? T-Man, you got to remember, from a game design standpoint, it's not what you want, it's what's good for the game, which is why I won't ever ask for cables. I want cables and I want pulleys, but I'm never going to ask for it, dude. Because that's not necessarily what the game needs to be better. It'll make it adds stuff to it, but in the scheme of things, why? A Rhino Art Pass? Yep. Yeah, Electro Llama for sure. More stuff to do in Space Station, Sethron. I agree with that. Yep. So, like, there's a bunch of quality of life stuff that can be improved, guys, but yep. Yeah, maybe, Sneaky. A soft capture docking port could be useful. There's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of stuff that could be improved. I'm not sure. Like, that's the thing, guys. Is there quality of life stuff? A lot of the stuff that you guys are saying is just quality of life stuff, and that's it. Hijinks has helped Kerbal sell very well, and cables would make for a lot of new hijinks. Cables are also extremely hard to do. I would use the heck out of a 3-meter payload bay. Mm-hmm. An RS-2200 would very much help me. Sorry, I got freaking fruit flies in here, man. I hope I didn't drop something. I usually keep this place clean as hell. I hope it's nothing bad. Fairing doors. I don't like it. There's flies flying around. But then again, it is the spring, so bugs are everywhere. I was thinking some sort of space race mode to go along with science and career. Sensors, parts for the cow controller to be able to pick up on, like altitude and pressure and stuff, could be used. Yeah, sensors for the cow controller would be really cool. Who is the man on the computer screen next to the Space Invaders? That's Galaga, Ma, and first of all, that's that dude. Story Bruno. With his cowboy hard hat and awesome sunglasses. One thing I think Kerbal could do with is more airplane parts, to be honest with you. More airplane fuselages. Right now, you're really only limited to Mark II stuff. Like some real nice dedicated airplane stuff that's blatantly designed just for airplanes. Like propeller, like how the propellers were and whatnot. KSP2 is fixing that with procedural wings. I'm not talking about wings, Sneaky. I like the wing. I like the way the wings are in KSP right now. You can do a lot of cool stuff with them if you really know what you're doing. It's the fuselage parts. I never got into Kerbal Space Program. I know you play a lot. Is it worth it? I'm gonna pretend you didn't ask that, Mac. Buran parts. So station modules and plane parts is kind of stuff that could be added to the game that's not quality of life or crane parts. Proper nose cone for Mark III would be nice. Yes, one-time use Baran parts. Alright, we'll finish up space news here with the NSF video here. Contract system overhaul? Yeah. That's not what you asked, though, Mac. You asked, is it worth it? Yeah, of course, man. So this footage is coming from our buddies over at NASA Spaceflight. This is Boca Chica gal, Mary, over there, shot this footage. Guys, they allow us to view all this footage on stream here unabated, so please go over there and support them if you can, please. I'm not asking. Go and do it. Literally, go and do it so we can keep analyzing this footage because it's amazing and it comes out daily. I mean, or don't, whatever. Please don't. All right. So I haven't popped in and checked this footage in a little while. This is the orbital pad here, the big boy crane there on the left. It's not finished yet. They're still building it in this footage, at least. I don't know. It could be assembled by now for all we know. Hey, Badger. Do it or I will find you. Right? Yeah, see, that's the tank farm over there. And then right here is the crane farm where they grow cranes. Yep, Ma, you're right. Yeah, you don't need to play the game like I play the game. Just put some rockets together and have some fun. Play Kerbal the way you want. Not enough cranes, though? What do you think about the new docking rotating feature in KSP? Useful. Very useful. I hate it when I don't get stuff aligned, Apocalypsis. You know I don't know if you were here for that part. Sometime back, I tried to come up with ways to align it automatically, and I had my alignment ports, but now we don't need to worry about that. The next rocket-powered flight test of VSS Unity will be conducted on the 22nd. Cool. Can never have enough cranes, dudes. $16 is still sitting right there. 15 is there. The TFR for that Virgin flight is already in place. Cool. And then there's a new crane that was brought in that they started assembling. A new lattice crawler crane here. That's a Liebherr 11,000 if I'm remembering right. Your long hair inspired me. I started my mullet today. Alright. Yeah, that guy right there. Look in the background. What is that? The build site is over there. That's where the build site is. That's the hopper. 7.2, SN2, SN16, high bay, mid bay, and then the 3 tents. Boca Chica Village is over there. Excuse me, one hop. Well, I guess they're gonna fly 15 again? Who knows? I don't know what's going on here, dudes. Like, I told you, once SN15 landed, looks like stuff changed. Because they were getting 16, 17 ready to go, and pretty much no progress has been made on 16 or 17 since 15 landed. Which leads me to kind of believe that SpaceX is putting all their money into this. They're putting all their money into the pad and getting the capability to launch. They want orbital launch capability with Starship as soon as possible. Which tells me that because they want to push so fast for the test, which we know from FCC filings, we know that test is a thermal protection system test. So SN20, I think, is what they're going to use, and they're gonna completely tile out this whole thing. But it's basically going to be a bare bones Starship. It's just going to be the wings and everything, and they're mostly just going to test the heat shield. There's going to be no like life support systems or anything available, or like not available on board or anything. And it definitely like isn't going to have people on it or anything. It's just going to be a heat shield test to make sure that the tiles work. And yeah, maybe they saw something with the tiles for the thermal protection system during SN-15's flight, or something. I have no idea. Rumors saying SN-16 will fly first. A lot of damage on the engines from the fire it caused. Rumors say SN-16 will fly first. There's a lot of damage on the engines from the fire it caused. On 15, Velo? Maybe. I wonder if they're gonna maybe put SN-15 on top of Heavy first. Yeah, maybe. That's what you heard? Have you seen this jacket? Oh, that's pretty neat. That's cool. Sorry, I'm in bed on phone. I have a delay.
Discovery,
It's
go and
possible. Toity, 55-month resub. Thank you. Let's get over here. There's the big boy crane. And then the 1600-2 is helping assemble the 11,000, which is a much bigger crane. There's the power boom right here. Tell me why it must be a power boom. Yo, dog, heard you like cranes, so we put cranes on your crane so you crane while you crane. Sup, dog? I mean, Tessa, do you think that fire that was burning under 15 when it landed is hotter than the gases that come out of the rocket engine? Honestly, I don't think that's a problem. Really. I mean, the components on the rocket motors are designed to take a lot more heat than that fire. I know because the stuff that spits out the bottom of the rocket engine is a little hotter. This stuff right here, yeah, a little hotter than just regular fire. They should send 15 to Mars on their first test mission. You can't tempt me with a good time, Jonas. SN-24 dome outside of the tents. Nice. You're hotter than a rocket engine exhaust. Boom, got him. Yeah, you got me. Can SN-16 attach to Super Heavy? I have no idea. Especially, that guy that controls that Twitter account watches the stream, dude. He's in here all the time. Delta 4 Heavy? Yeah, that guy's cool. Good buddy of mine. Drives a Mustang. I like that. So, this is over at the gas well site. This is, like, as far away from the pad as you can get. About 2 miles, I think. They're building the rest of the fixed service structure and catch tower, I guess, in sub-assemblies here. And then you see these little guides right there? They're going to stack them on top of each other. And that's what those big freaking cranes are for. They're for moving this in one piece. Flexing much? Not really. For what it's worth, I've known that viewer longer than he's had that Twitter account. He's been watching the stream for a lot longer than that. Yep. These guys are putting this all together. Oh, dude, that probably kills your arms by the end of the day. There's no power tools that put these freaking things together, these huge bolts. You just need a big friggin' wrench. Unless there is a power tool, in which case, sorry. But I've never seen that, whatever power tool it is, I've never seen like a giant impact gun. I always see guys turning these things with a freaking wrench. And look, they're building another one. Oh, man. What you making a Ferrari P1 and P2 in practice? Absolutely nothing. Which is what you are about to become, Lone Star. Prepare to die. Who cares, Sebi? Whatever. Come in P1 and P2 during the race, then we'll talk. Hydraulic bullet clenchers exist, but they're not super common. That's a... okay. That's a scissor lift. You wouldn't use a hydraulic wrench, Sassor. It probably is a pneumatic, but... I mean, can you imagine how hefty that friggin' thing would be, dude? Just get a wrench. I mean, it's not like the thread. You have to turn the thing very far. But dang, man, like that dude, that must kill your arms by the end of the day. Bro, I heard you like to lift. Bro, do you even lift? Okay, dirge. Okay, this crane's gonna have a jib. Those are jib masts for the crane. That means if this thing is gonna have a jib, that means this 11,000 is going to be freaking huge, like real big. And then there's the 13 what is it, a 350 with the power boom. Tell me why must be a power boom. Do 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 do. Look at the people right there, just for scale. I don't know, awesome dude. I don't know why they need two of these things. Chebby, that's a nice truck. I like that. It's not bad. 3,500, something like that. Chebby and Bird. Look at the dude. Look at the dude standing there. Look at the freaking hooks on this thing. It's unbelievable. How big is this damn crane? Will the booster and Starship be assembled at the high bay or at the launch site? Stack right on the pad. Oh, if this jib is for the crane with the power boom, holy crap, that crane's gonna be huge. These are jib masts here. Hang on. The 11,350, yeah, this thing. So the jib mast is something that, it's like an extension for the crane. So like you can configure the crane, you have it in different settings, right? And you build it basically like a Lego kit. You start with this and you can build whatever you want. You can have up to 3 pulleys on it. See the cables? And then even the saddles right here for the counterweights. Those can, the saddles for the counterweights, you can configure those. You can set the distance from the pin. And then you have extendable arms if you need to set the crane down even more. It's a mini jib and it's already on the 11,000. Yeah, so see how these... So once again, I'll run people through it just in case they don't know. So in this configuration right here for the crane, you have your mast. This solid piece right here that pivots with a pulley right there, that's the mast, okay? And this is just a mast and a boom. That's it. That's just the boom. So this is for if you needed to move something heavy, but you didn't need to move it very far. This right here is if you needed to move something not very far, but a lot heavier. Note that the crane has this attachment right here. See this thing? That's called a derrick. So mast, derrick, and boom. And EJ. All right. Someone say boom. Yikes. So this crane is a jib mast extension. See this? There's the jib. I know it borrows terms. It borrows rigging terms from sailing. Yeah, and you see how all the cables are connected down to those pulleys that are down here in the house. Now this has a mast, a derrick, the main boom, the jib masts, and the jib, right? And then you have a wagon extension if you need to move something over a crazy distance, or the crane needs to like reach out and grab something. They have an extension here, and they have a wagon on the back. The wagon is counterweights that basically help counter whatever you're picking up. The blue crane at Boca Chica has the wagon. I mean, that's not exactly a wagon; it's just a sled. But yeah, you can add extensions to it and whatnot. There is the wagon. That's the wagon. It's literally a wagon. If this is if it needs to move something, you can have basically a trailer hitch and a fifth wheel attached to your crane. I like the cut of your jib. Okay, we get it, EJ. You lift. What's up, man? Hey, how you doing? There's the hooks. Different types of hooks that you can use. There's the treads. We saw these things get delivered. There's the base plate of the crane. Right? And then, yeah, basically you move this thing in frigging pieces and then you assemble it. See all the different configurations? The SDW, this one right here, that's the one I think they're going to make. That's the one I think they're putting together. I think they're going to use this one. This with the power boom on it can lift stuff as tall as the service structure is supposedly proposed to be. And then we saw the jibs. See these two mini jibs right here? Those, well, not mini. Those are the two jibs. And the jibs are also extendable. You can make them longer or shorter. That's what those pieces are. I'm pretty dang sure. Which is just, I mean, come on. These cranes are so cool. The engineering behind them is ridiculous. Shameless plug for the freaking cranes. I mean, we know from the environmental impact report that that service structure is going to be about 500 feet tall. 151 meters tall. So you're going to need a crane that can reach higher than that. And this is the configuration booklet for the 11350. That's the multicolored crane with the power boom on it. That's the biggest configuration it can be. And that's 200 meters tall. So, yeah, this thing's going to be a friggin' monster. It's going to be a monster of a freaking crane. Like, the crane itself is amazing. The fact that it's putting a spaceship or a spaceport together just makes me even happier. You see, and then you can extend the jib depending on what you're doing, or you can contract the boom. It just depends on what you need. But you also got to be careful, because as you get exponentially further away from the pin on the crane, whatever you're picking up has more moment, right? So if the crane has 50 tons of counterweight and you're lifting up something that's 50 tons and the jib is basically horizontal, you're going to need a huge wagon on the back to make sure that the center of mass of the entire thing, you with the payload attached and all the counterweight, you got to make sure the center of mass is somewhere over here somewhere or behind it, so you could pick this up. You get leverage over it. You don't want the payload to have moment over the crane, or else the crane doesn't crane very well. Here's all your load tables. You can see if the thing gets bigger, if the jib is bigger, right, your payload capacity goes down the further away you get from the pin, which is pretty cool. I mean, this is just basic physics, right? We need a crane operating simulator. Wouldn't that be cool? Where you have to configure the crane ando. I actually think that'd be really sick. This is the configuration I think they're going for. Something like this, which is just ridiculous. Considering a person is about half the size of the mouse cursor, that's unbelievable. 200 meters tall. Guys, that's 600 and... What's 200 meters? 600... It's over 600 feet. So, if we do 200 times 3.3... Yeah, 660 feet. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That is a ridiculously big crane. You spend the whole time configuring it. Can you imagine, like, a game that's, like, kind of like American Truck Simulator, where you have to move all the parts to the site and then put the thing together? Can you imagine, like, a 4-player multiplayer game where it called, like, crane lifting, where you have an operator and you have the guys that put the stupid crane together? That'd be really cool. And it doesn't tell you what type of, it does, like, somebody says, oh, I need to move this rocket on this launch pad, and you have to configure the crane yourself, and if you don't get the configuration right, so like Polybridge, but with cranes. Oh, man, that would be fun, man. You're hurting my head. Goalie, we all can't be experts like you. Sorry. I don't get the terminology exactly right, but I know I get it enough to get the point across. 660 feet is how tall of a building in perspective? A 66-story building. Now, 66 stories is 660 feet. City Skylines XL, where you and your friends drive the trucks, assemble the cranes, and get the resources to the build site. Yeah, like somebody has to drive the trucks. Nice Freightliner. So these counterweights, each one of these counterweights right there with the triangles on them, the red triangles, is 22,000 pounds, 10,000 kilograms. Which, look at how many of those are stacked. It's basically a cast iron brick. Check out Thomas's last. Nah, I don't think I will. Fan in its fixed length and liftoff. What's this? You put together a couple of time lapses. Oh, nice, Snake. That's cool. SpaceX, NASA, Blue Origin. I mean, Joe, I don't understand why we have to choose, dude. Why do we have to choose? I want all rockets, man. I'm a greedy bastard, man, when it comes to this. But please, more rockets. I don't give a crap who makes them, to be honest with you. I just want more rockets. I'll take all of those things, and no doubt that SpaceX is on the cutting edge, absolutely. But I like everything, dude. I'm greedy. I want more rockets. NASA would be bankrupt without SpaceX. Yeah, you got that the wrong way around there, Ace. But that's cool. NASA bailed out SpaceX in 2008, man. SpaceX is just repaying the favor. Look it up, man. The Commercial Orbital Transportation System contract that NASA handed out to Kistler and SpaceX in 2008 saved SpaceX. They were gonna go belly up, dude. Please, last. Have we seen the Maxer for the 11K yet? No, I don't think so. Could you please explain in plain English what happened with HLS this week? Like some budget increases, if I understood correctly? After this footage, Swishio, just remind me. After we're done watching. Nothing could save Kistler. Man, why do we have stuff like Kistler exist demo? And Beale went belly up. Beale, it should have been Beale and SpaceX, but COTS wasn't a thing yet. It took Columbia crashing to freaking make that a thing. Yeah, Deepak, I know. It shows you how strong it is. That was the problems that I ran into when I was building my dang crane. I can't make something in Kerbal that's that rigid. It's impossible. Well, it's not. Don't get me wrong. It's not impossible. You could do it. We proved that you could make a good base plate for a crane. But, yeah, stacking that much counterweight on it, dude. Like, look, it's not even bending. How many counterweights are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11... 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That's 230,000 kilograms. That's 500,000, pretty much 500,000 pounds. And then there's more of them right there. That's 500,000 pounds of weight. That's unbelievable. What, like, 500,000 pounds? That number is incomprehensible. Like, I don't know what that looks like. 500,000 pounds? All right. Goalie about $50 an hour. Yeah, Wong, that would be really cool. I know. Yeah, Altio, what? I'm looking at 550,000 pounds right there, right? But there's nothing, my brain doesn't, you know how, like, look, how I teach you guys is I come up with comparisons, often to cars or airplanes or whatever. Anything. I don't have an analog for 550,000 pounds. I don't know. A piece of a frigging bridge, maybe? I have no idea. Like, I don't know anything off the top of my head that weighs that freaking much. I don't think even Starship weighs that much, dude. A frigate? No, I don't think no. Let's try an Arleigh Burke. An Arleigh Burke's way, way heavier than that. There's no way that crane could lift it. Fully loaded in Arleigh Burke in the Flight 3 configuration is 9,700 tons. Not even close. Not even close. 550,000 pounds is 250 tons. Not even close. You couldn't even lift the gun. Well, it could probably lift the gun. Probably lift the gun. Yeah, it could lift the gun. Not the VLS, though. I don't think so. I gotta sneeze. Allergies, man. How many M1? How many M1s is that? Let's see. How much does an Abrams tank weigh? An Abrams weighs 54 tons. This crane could lift that up. Yeah, that's five Abrams tanks worth of mass or weight on the back of that crane. 5 M1s. How is that? Oh, jeez. About 1/4 of the weight of one mobile launcher. Jeez. Jeez. Also, one of the drivers in F2 didn't make the 107%. His fastest lap was 6 seconds behind pole. Oops. How many tons? This is 250 or 230 tons of counterweight. That's unbelievable. 230 metric tons. It's about the same with regular tons, but pounds are 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds, so it's 500. It's like 550,000 pounds. Yeah, which is just okay. How do those racks weight not break due to metal fatigue? Yeah, that's what I mean. Farnight, I don't know. Dude, that has to be some of the most impure, strongest steel that I can think. Like, yeah, how strong does that steel need to be? That steel tray, the saddle right there is freaking holding 120 tons worth of weight. I don't know how. I don't want to know what that steel is made out of. Well, I do. It's probably, dude, that I'll bet you that steel is super, super pure. Hey, Atran, what's up, dude? You're the best? Nah, I'm just a guy. I don't think it's tungsten, duel. This is all steel, if I'm remembering this correctly. Sajaman engineering, yeah. Atran, you see the 421 launch? The Sibbers? Great launch, dude. We are here meets Trey and his ride. And for all on people that want to unpimp the auto, let me hear you say, what? What? It's probably tinfoil. Yeah, I'd say tinfoil. Maybe some saran wrap. Okie gifted us up to Atran. Did the sounding rocket launch? Yes, it did. You worked it? Hell yeah. That's awesome, dude. Oh, my boy's MIG welding over there. Wig welding. Yep, that's a thing. Sure. Thank you, Mouth, for doing that. I appreciate it. Yeah, he's got a MIG. That's a MIG welder. Yeah, it's that story. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Whatever it is, it's strong as hell. What else we got? This is the electrical house, the powerhouse over here. I mean, electrical things happen there. It's the powerhouse for the pad. Hot off the press, T-Man. SpaceX set to launch 6 commercial moon landers after the latest win. Yeah, Firefly. We already covered that, dude. Good stuff. Power boom is assembled. It hasn't been erected yet, though. You'll see it in the next shot here. Bro. Nice. You freaking legend, dude. That's awesome, man. That's so damn cool. Wait, why am I subbed again? You got gifted a sub. Yep. No longer an oversized load. Came here for the rocket, stayed for the cranes. Dude, yeah, I know. I just can't get over how big. Look at this. It looks wrong. These people, oh crap, we even got tiny people. Hey, look, tiny foods, little bits. We got tiny spaghetti. We got tiny pizza. Oh crap, we even have tiny people. Little bits. The guy looks tiny. He looks like a little kid compared to the booms on the crane, man. Yeah, your office is better than mine, Atran. I only have 3 monitors. Little bits. Oh, crap. We got tiny people. Yep, those are the pulleys, man. It's one cable. One cable goes up and down and 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 up and down. Because pulleys. Alright, Boost. Have a good night, man. Oh, there they go. They're moving it, rotating the pin. Well, not the pin, but rotating the crane. The only question I have is how do they plan on doing any SN testing when they have the 11350 and the 11000 there? That's too much of a risk. Yeah, goalie, that's the other thing. That's the other thing, you know, when people ask me when hop, when I say I don't know, because I know it ain't anytime soon with these things there. No one's going to risk that investment. I wouldn't. The full shuttle external tank weighs 3 times that counterweight. Cool. When it's full of fuel, though, Ando, right? Big brain, yeah, you know, some big brain stuff, yeah. Sorry, man. Vector mount right there. I wonder what all these are for. Hey, EJ, my hard drive broke, damn. What? I'm sorry, dude. That made me laugh so hard, man. That's still funny. Ian, that was... Dude, I was like, I was making food the other night, and I, like, you know how, like, when you're doing something, you randomly think of something that was funny, and then you just start laughing? Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if Brimo freaking, like, was, like, in the other room, she would have thought I was nuts. Like, because I was sitting there, and I'm, like, making food, and I'm just like, God damn it. Sneaky gifted a sub to N9. What's up, dude? Dude, hey, EJ, my hard drive just broke, dab. What? Sorry, dude, it was the funniest freaking thing ever. Oh my god, that was funny. Dude, I can't. Alright. Yeah, there's a Vector mount right there. I think I clipped that, dude. I almost spit my... I don't know, wait, did I almost spit my drink out? I don't know, either way, I remember freaking made my freaking sides hurt, dude. Give me 1 second, dudes. You gotta answer a message. You got a message. It might be important. You are fired. Oh, sorry. Hey, at least I won lunch. Whoa. What's up? We're pleased to have... Wait. It's the guy that makes tacos in my dreams. No, I'm not making that up. I had a dream that Jim opened up a taco restaurant. I'm not even kidding. Who the hell would make that up? NanoRex, we're pleased to have Jim Bridenstine, the chairman of the Voyager Advisory Board in NanoRex DC office today. Looking forward to the future of commercial space. Jim's doing some stuff in the background. Jim's doing some stuff. Man, if you guys only knew about Mike Griffin. Jim's a good administrator. Mike is a good administrator. Oh, yeah. So Mike Griffin was NASA's administrator from basically 2004 to 2008. He is the guy, the administrator that oversaw the shuttle program to finish the ISS and roll out the Constellation at the same time. Mike is the guy that got the shuttle operating on a reliable schedule. And got the space station finished. He organized that whole project. And he also rolled out Constellation at the same time. You think Jim and Bill are working together secretly to better NASA? I don't think they're working secretly, LQ2. It's no secret that Jim had Bill Nelson on the Space Council Advisory Board. And in fact, Jim went over to Bill and gave him a job when Bill lost his what was it? Lost the Senate seat, I think. He lost the seat to Rick Scott, I think, if I'm remembering right. I mean, it doesn't matter. Yeah. That told me everything I need to know. Bill's been in on the Artemis program since 2018. That's why I wasn't too incredibly worried about this. Don't get me wrong. I'll be honest. I kind of wish that Jim was still there. I liked the way Jim carried himself. And, you know, I like the way he carried himself, and I like how he ran NASA. I like how it's a chess game, and he would always, I mean, and I'm not saying that Bill won't do that either. We have the benefit of looking at Jim's career at NASA in retrospect, not Bill's just yet, you know. So, you know, like I said, I gave Jim a fair shot in 2017. I'm going to give Bill a fair shot here now. It's the right move. Bill will go in mission control when I think he deserves to go in mission control. I put Jim in mission control just space when he announced the Artemis program. Because I could not believe that somebody had the stones to restart like the lunar program with a concrete path to get back to the moon in 2024. If you told me a day before I heard that speech that Jim gave that we would work on a nice, sustainable lunar program with a very bold deadline to go in 2024. Bold but achievable at the time. I would have called you insane. Yeah, I was like, there's no way. There's no way they could do that, but Jim did. What he did for NASA, if the Artemis program does what I think it's going to do, and Bill carries the torch that Jim ignited, and Bill carries the torch that Jim had, and the torch was pretty much ignited by Charlie Bolden, if you really want to know, in his second term as administrator, right? Yeah, Jim will be remembered. Oh yeah, he'll be in like all the documentaries and highlight reels and stuff. Absolutely. What if in 201 I told you Starship would land? Well, in 201 I would have been little concern and probably said, what's a spaceship? Jim Bridenstine, Jado. This guy. That guy. He was the NASA administrator from 2017 to 2020. Anyway. I meant 2016. I don't know, man. Starship, we already knew about Starship, but we knew it as ITS. Alright. Hey, check it out, guys. More cranes. Frickin' look at all of them, dude. Gorgon, no, not yet. Not yet. Gorgon, talk is cheap. Seriously, talk is cheap. Well, I shouldn't say talk is cheap, because I just said Jim talked and I gave him a seat. I gave him a spot in mission control. And I want to hear more of what he has to say. He said he's gonna, 2024 is still a thing. All right, let's see. How does the moon cut its hair? Eclipse it. So this is a vacuum Raptor engine mount that they're working with right there. I'm just going to pretend I didn't see that, Scruffy, okay? Crane Base, Texas. I hope Starship can scale up one day. Yeah, maybe. That's right, Kick. But Jim was able to do that, Kick, because he had the executive branch backing him up. I'll be honest with you. That's what I'm waiting on. Because it seems like Congress is on board. And it seems like the administrator's on board. And, well, Bill does represent the executive branch at NASA. That's who appointed him there. I want to see some commitment. That's all. Like, I don't think that's a tough thing to ask for, but that's kind of what I'm waiting on. Everything. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be a stickler. All right. I'm not trying to say anything about guy in the White House. Let's not do that. I just want to. I think that's the one thing really at this point. We get some commit there. I think we're good, and I want to be very clear that all signs are pointing in that direction. So. And believe me, if I see some red flags somewhere, I will tell you. I'm not just like before, you know. If I see something I don't like or see something that I think is bad space policy, I'll let you know. Don't worry. I like this scruffy guy, you know. It is, TJ. So these are the cryo caps for the propellant farm. This is where SpaceX is going to be making the propellants for Starship. Yeah, Just Space, like I said, I've only seen one big red flag. My big red flag that I've seen since Jim left office is the fact that NASA rescinded on the prices. They hiked the price by a 500% increase for doing commercial stuff on the space station. And I thought it was bullcrap at the time. I thought it was reneging contracts that were already in place and screwing companies' business models. And it did for what it's worth for a couple of companies. But the reason why NASA hiked the price the way that they did is because they don't have enough docking ports on the space station. That's the reason. Yeah. Literally, there's another fly. That's not good. Literally, freaking, there's like fruit flies flying around all over the place. I want to, I'm trying to say I don't eat in here, but I do, but I keep this place really clean. I wonder where the hell those are coming from. Sorry, idle thought. Yeah, they don't have enough docking ports on the space station. That's why they jacked the price. That's the only real red flag I've seen, Just Space. It seems like they're gonna stay committed to 2024 from what I've seen. I've seen nothing. I've only seen it mentioned as an afterthought, but I'm waiting for that solid commitment, dude. That's what I'm looking for. Bill is like, oh, we could go back in 2024, or we could go back later, better late than never. And I'm like, that's okay, but, could be better. Why not put more? Because by the time you get somebody to fabricate those docking ports and find a manifested spot for them to send them up there, I don't think the ISS is going to be around anymore. They originally, so you got to understand, they originally had 3 international docking adapters. They planned for 2 and then had 1 as a spare. Because IDA-1 is at the bottom of the ocean from CRS-7. So there was originally supposed to be 3. Now, I don't know where they would have put the 3rd one. There's no pressurized mating adapter for it. But, you could, they could have 1 as a spare. I don't know. Couldn't they expand on more ideas with Axiom? Yes, they could. Not gonna lie, they may just be focusing on other stuff right now and then commit to it once they can reach some sort of stability. Yeah, I disagree with that, Just Space. I disagree with that. You can do both of those things at the same time. A cited example, I guess, would be during the recession in 2008, 2009, and out of 2010, the space program took a back burner because we needed to fix the stuff from the recession, and that ended up laying off about 10,000 NASA employees. Because, the solution to high unemployment is laying off more people. Wait, that doesn't sound right. No, committing to that and getting back to work, especially with NASA, and committing to goals is part of fixing that problem. NASA was not unaffected by COVID. Sorry, dude, like, and I'm not trying to bark up different people's tree, and I'm not trying to say this guy is better than this guy or any of that nonsense. I'll always fight for space. I'll always be critical because I'm hugely biased towards space. Oh, gotta do those stretches. I agree, King. Yeah, no, not a bad play. Sure, absolutely. And it was funny in that House Appropriations Committee meeting. That's what Bill was basically saying. They're like, so how are we gonna make sure that this program in my district stays around? And he goes, well, if you know, we have like an extra $5 billion in that bill for NASA in the infrastructure bill. If you want to ensure that all your programs are good to go, you probably should do that. He all but told him to, which I thought was funny to me. It tells me something a little bit about Bill and how he carries himself. No bull crap, which I do appreciate. I really like that. No bull. You want more money? Vote for this bill. That's some real old school politician stuff right there, man. Bill is definitely old school. Very, very Southern candid, right to the point, dude. That's right, Zukow. And that's why I'm not too incredibly worried, man. Oh, they're putting another saddle on the back there. I mean, like I said, I really still wish that Jim was there because, you know, Jim is the guy that kind of started the program. But the other thing to take into account is that Bill Nelson was on the National Space Council Advisory Board. Jim actually hired him and put him on the board. So, yeah, guys, once again, I ain't too incredibly worried. Power boom. Tell me why I must be a power boom. Yeah, there's a good reason for that, King. It sells. Hey, if that's the way we got to do it. Something like that, Hellfish. I don't want to talk about the infrastructure bill, dude. Let's talk about cranes. Let's talk about cranes, baby. I lift all my things and me. We lift your mom because she needs a crane because she's heavy. Haha, fat jokes. All right, cool. Yep. Moving on. See? That's how you change the subject. Talk about your mama. How's space news? Space news is good. SSTO is coming along good. I think I got a solution, Ishiku. I think I got a way to put that whole thing together. We're going to basically try that at the end of this video. There is another Starship video to watch. I'm going to save it for tomorrow. We don't have time. And I'm actually going to get through this stuff quick. There's more cranes building out the service structure sections here. It's important to note, guys, that, once again, this piece over here doesn't have these, like, plates on the sides. See that? Interesting. I was at a crane yard today doing some inspections. Go figure. Bills and bills? Meh. Trains and cranes? Yeah. That's right, Zook. You covered the new KSP update. Yeah, in pretty good detail. Rotating docking ports? Yeah. I mean, rotating docking ports actually could be... I just got the gnarliest idea. Huh. That might work. It's possible. Doesn't look like you can rotate those things 90 degrees. Like, I only think you can rotate the docking port a certain degree, but I was saying maybe I could use that as an axle for the transporter erector hinge. But that kind of is dependent on if they drift or not. I don't think they will, but I don't know for sure. Think about using rotating docking ports for cranes. The large docking port could create a pin nuclear. Yeah, that could be useful. You have like 3 weeks left, no cranes. I ain't talking about cranes, man. That was probably chat delayed, though, Hellfish. I don't know what this stuff is. I can't tell. There's some diamond plate right there. I don't know, goalie. Do you guys think this is a structural mock-up of a vacuum Raptor engine, maybe? It kind of looks like it has a nozzle right there, and then it has a mount piece. Yeah, you could, Devious. It really depends. Notice the max weight. Yeah. Looks like workshop tooling. Yeah. Could be. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Anyway, let's see. Scrap barrel. Whoa. Dude. Watch. This pulley's gonna start. Pulley's gonna start moving. They're gonna pull the mast down. See? These pulleys are pulling these cables, and the mast is rotating back, which picks the boom up. Bro. That's sick, dude. Look at this thing. Wait a minute. No. Wait, how are they doing that? The mast isn't moving. I'm confused. Yep, I'm confused. I don't know how this is moving. They must just be using one pulley to pull that mast. The acting Johnson Space Center director said Artemis 1 is still set for November. Yep. Whoa, bro! Look at that thing! Oh, they're moving the mast on the big crane. Yeah, it is. Cars. The thing is ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. Come on, Luft. Yikes. That is a monster. Yeah, there's the jibs up there at the top. Why didn't they put the derrick in it? I don't know, goalie. I couldn't tell you. I don't know why you'd need a boom that long, but no derrick. I don't know. I don't know. Derek slept in. Yeah. Slept in. We should call Colin. Colin! Colin! Alan! Alan! Wait, no, it's not Alan. It's Steve. Steve! 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 Yep, they sleeved the dome. Maybe just need the height. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that this Gießen, this type of crane, from what I can tell, because they don't have the derrick, is not designed to lift anything particularly heavy, but it's designed to lift something more light a long distance to a higher elevation. With a boom like this, I mean, look at all the counterweight that this guy is running on that crane. He's running a lot of counterweight there. I don't know, man. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what configuration of you'd need that for with the crane. How heavy is that Appleton crane? I don't know. The launch mount? No, the power boom crane would lift that launch mount. There's no way you'd be able to lift it with that thing. But yeah, he ain't lifting anything heavy. The radius, yeah, he's lifting far. Yeah, exactly. Cryo shell? No, that's at the build site. Not at the build site, Orcish. That's at the launch site. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe. Interesting. Does it get windy there? Yeah, of course. All right, let's get back into SSDO. SSDO stuff, guys. I'm going to switch us back over to Kerbal. I hope you enjoyed that space news. Must finish space plane. Mission mode part. I think we're on 148. But the HLS thing, what was your question? Nothing has changed with HLS. They're just in a blackout period because Dynetics and Blue Origin contested the contract. SpaceX is still the prime contractor on that for the time being. But since everybody else said, no, this isn't fair, there's no money being exchanged between SpaceX and NASA. That's it. Did you cover the KSP update news? What's KSP, Jim? Liglerg. Nice, Phil. That's cool. Yeah, just in case, Silly Viking. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So that's going to do it for the...
News! 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 News!